Can I help you, love?
Hi, yeah, I was looking for a new comic to try.
You want to read a comic book? Yeah,
Yes.
what sort of content are you looking for? Like superheroes, action?
Well, anything that broaches on things I've played,
Yeah,
things I've listened to,
right,
things that I put in my eyes.
right, yeah,
Preferably something with some queer trans ladies.
right, yeah,
Maybe some skits.
right, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Just
something
sort
in
of
that
some
sort
fun,
of.
maybe a little bit of surreal humour.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we've got Lumberjanes. Got ya. Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Dale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magnet, and welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers, that podcast where two queer trans ladies have a bit of a giggle and a catch-up and talk about what we have consumed media-wise in the week, while doing silly voices and skits and the such.
It's us.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Sleepy.
Yeah, I saw you have a caffeinated, a tinned, carbonated, caffeinated beverage today.
At a time when I wasn't going out after having worked all day.
I know, it wasn't, I'm going to be up very late tonight. This was I need to get through whoops. I need some, which is very unlike you.
It's very, very unlike me.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you're awake enough to whoops.
I got to like 5 o'clock and I was like, I can't do it. I know we've got caffeine beverages in the fridge and have done for about the last 9 months.
Yeah,
Giving you some idea how rarely we drink them.
Yeah, well, they've been saved there for like the next time we go for a night out that we might be out all night, and then those stopped being a thing. Like, probably not 9 months, probably 5 months.
Maybe.
Like, I imagine probably a month or two before all of this went down, we probably went out.
I feel like we went out in December. Maybe.
I feel like we went out maybe around the new year. We must have gone out at least once in 2020, I would have thought.
I can't remember anymore.
I mean, this year's a weird phantasmal blur. I don't remember anything anymore. You know what I do remember?
What do you remember?
Things I've played.
Tell us about the things you played.
Things I've played this week. Let's start with a nice thing I've played this week. I have been playing Paper Mario: The Origami King.
It looks adorable.
Yeah, it's a new Paper Mario game on the Switch. Came out last week. So a lot of people online have been hating on it because there is one Paper Mario game that everyone seems to love, and that's Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. It came out on the GameCube. It was a traditional RPG with your leveling system, extra party members that come join you that have special abilities. A big part of why people love it is it went weirdly dark in places with its narrative. Like, there's a side quest where it's implied you help dispose of a dead body.
Cool.
It's fucking weird. I don't know how they got away with this Mario game existing.
It's paper. It's all okay if it's paper.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of people have been hating on the Origami King because it's less of a traditional RPG, and I've been really enjoying.
I thought all the Paper Mario games were less of a traditional RPG.
A Thousand Year Door, for example, is very much do your level grinding to get experience points to level up to beat the thing. Like it's an RPG.
I think I played one on the DS. I don't remember.
There was what Color Splash, Sticker Star. There were a couple of
Sticker Star.
Yeah, Sticker Star is so. Basically, there's two that people don't like, which are the 3DS ones, Sticker Star and Color Splash. And both of them, instead of RPG elements, were like, have some stickers that do things, and people didn't like them.
Surely that's just the same as, like, Slay the Spire or something?
Yeah, I mean, that I would say that as well, but that's a whole other debate. So, yeah, a lot of people haven't been liking, or didn't like the idea of the Origami King, because it doesn't have traditional battles and a traditional leveling system.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you go in with the right expectation, it's a fantastic game, but you have to go in going, this isn't going to be an RPG battle system where it's like, pick from my list of attacks on the menu, lots of different attacks to pick from. It's more of a puzzle combat game, in the vein of something like it almost feels comparable in places to something like Legend of Bumbo or Puzzle Quest.
Mm-hmm.
You've got this circular arena, and each time you enter a battle with an enemy, you are at the centre, And you've got two main types of attack. Jumping attacks, if timed properly, will hit everything in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And hammer attacks will hit a 2x2 grid in a direction.
Okay.
And you have like 30 seconds at the start of a battle to, with a certain number of movements, try and line up enemies so that they fit into 2x2 grids or straight lines.
Okay.
And if you can successfully get it so that all the enemies on the field are in one of those positions, you get a 1.5 times bonus on your attack damage. If not, you can still attack them, but they're going to be more spread out. You're probably not going to be able to attack them all with the number of moves you've got. It's basically do a puzzle thing involving moving things on different axes in order to give yourself the best chance possible of doing damage in combat.
Mm-hmm.
And from then, every time that you are attacked or do an attack, if you hit the A button in time with your attack or the attack that's coming at you, you'll deal extra damage or take less damage.
Okay.
So it's a fairly active combat system.
Mm-hmm.
You earn money through combat, so rather than leveling up traditionally, you buy upgrades to your character, which you stick onto them like badges. You're like, okay, I'll spend a bunch of the money I earned in combat to, I don't know, buy a thing that gives me 20 extra seconds each combat to do the puzzle section, or that gives me extra attack power, things like that. I've been really, really enjoying this game. It is charming as hell, as the Paper Mario games always tend to be. You have a dedicated confetti throwing button at all
that's
times.
the important thing
That
we need
is-
to know more about.
Yeah, you have a button that just lets you throw confetti up in the air. You can unlock different skins for your confetti, so instead it's like, I'm throwing cherry blossom petals, I'm throwing
Glitter.
glitter. Like, how do you want a skin that just throw colourful stuff up in the air? It's great. Yeah, I've been really enjoying the writing in this game. It's very charmingly written.
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of people going, oh, it's not as, like mature as the 1,000-year... No, fuck off. You've clearly not gotten very far into it. Skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to know anything about this game. There was a moment today in this game where a Bobomb who had been for several hours part of my party travelling with me literally killed himself in order to, as he's a Bobomb, to blow himself up to rescue another character. Like, that's a whole ass thing that happened in this game. He's just like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go out in a blaze of glory and save the day.
Wow.
Yeah, this game doesn't fuck around.
No.
I've been enjoying. I've been enjoying everything about this game. It's not what I expected
Mhm.
the game to be. Largely, the moment-to-moment loop of this game is run around very nice-looking environments, filling in holes by throwing confetti at them, which I find just endlessly amusing. There are toads hidden absolutely fucking everywhere around environments. That they're sort of like the Koroks in Breath of the Wild,
Mhm.
if they were like a bit less hidden.
Okay.
Slightly less, but they're fucking everywhere, and it's like, something about this doesn't look quite correct, I'm going to interact with it. There's a toad.
And you're collecting toad poop, or?
No. Basically, the more of them you rescue, when you're in battle, they'll cheer you on, they're your crowd, you get bonuses, you can throw money to them to get bonuses, and the more of them you've found, the better the bonuses for the lower amounts of money.
Okay.
So you're sort of incentivized to explore every edge of these environments, which is nice. But yeah, it's just a really charming, nice little game about everyone's made of paper. You got to go on a big adventure. There's all these sort of paper streamers tied around, and you gotta break those so you can get the castle back. Luigi is running around endlessly not sure what he's doing, but every time you run into him, he's like, I'm helping! It's like, yeah, of course, yes, you're helping, Luigi, it's fine.
You can have head pats.
I have a car that is a shoe right now, and I'm driving around a desert in a shoe car.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fair. I mean, Mario has driven shoes before.
Yeah, he's like hopped around in shoes before. This is exactly what I needed to be playing after having put myself through Deadly Premonition 2 last week. Well, we'll get to that. But it was the perfect palate cleanser of just, this is just a colourful, nice, happy game with a fun puzzle combat mechanic, and it's a very pretty game.
There you go. That's the new box quote. Paper Mario, the Origami King.
It's a very pretty game.
The sorbet after a mouthful of transphobic shit.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. That's the box quote right there. I'm sure Nintendo will be very happy.
Yeah, I'm loving this game.
Yeah.
I've tried not to like. I've not tried to write like proper critique stuff of it because I'm like, you know what, this one's for me. I'm not going to rush to finish it for work. I'm just gonna finish it in my own time, and everything's gonna be fine.
Yay!
This one's for me.
Yay!
What about you? What have you been playing?
I've only really played one thing this week.
Yeah.
I played 3 hours of Forager. I
Yeah.
am not entirely sure why.
No.
No.
Because I know you would
Hated it the first time I played it.
Yeah. Do you hate it any less this time?
No, but I can hate it quicker. Because I know how to get the things that make the thing much quicker.
Okay.
I keep getting pop-ups going, we've updated it, we've updated it some more, we've added some new things, we've made it more stuff, we've rebalanced it. I think I just wanted to kill time while watching Star Trek.
That's fair.
And it does that in the style of an old Newgrounds game.
Yeah.
And that was about it. It's for anyone who doesn't know, you are a little tiny plain white character.
Your art style for the character is adorable.
Oh, I gave myself bunny ears.
I know, he's so cute.
I got bunny ears and a little fancy backpack. Yeah, and basically your mission is get thing, upgrade thing, mine thing, craft thing, go and explore a few dungeons.
It's one of those games.
It feels like it wants to be a mobile phone game with tons of microtransactions.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, it's basically an idle game.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Okay.
And apparently that was what it was based on, so I got the vibe correct. Yeah, it's just tedious. I think when I played it previously, like, the buying extra land to sort of unlock more space was a bit quicker, which meant that you could get further through the game without having quite as much experience.
Okay.
So you'd like have tons of stuff unlocked, tons of places to go, but not really a lot to do there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know better about how to organise things with the unlocking system. So basically, every time you level up, you get a chance to pick something out of the sort of experience block.
Yeah.
You can't see what's ahead. You can just see the things you've picked and the things directly next to them.
Yeah.
So if you don't know where a thing is, like say the vault, because you will end up with a pocket full of crap, and the game constantly going, your inventory is full. Okay, so what do I do about that? Your inventory is full. And the first time I played through, I got like 6 hours into the game going, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
All because like one particular extension on the thing didn't really appeal to me.
Yeah.
The thing after that was really useful.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, if I'd unlocked this earlier, I wouldn't be having the trouble I've been having for the last few hours. So as I say, I can hate it quicker now. With greater efficiency.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, it's not great.
Can I tell you about a game I've been hating with quicker efficiency this week?
I wonder what that might be.
Yeah, so I've been playing Deadly Premonition 2 again. So you know how the other week I played through that game in 3 days because there's transphobia in it and I have to have opinions on it?
Yep.
So, like, the day before my video about Deadly Premonition 2 went up, Swery put out a thing going like, hey, I'm gonna update the game and we're gonna remove the transphobia and sorry about that and it's all gonna be better. And, like, 4 or 5 days later, the game has been patched, and I'm like...
It was not better.
I'm like, that's not long enough to hire consultants, go through it from scratch, like, get a proper inventory of what needs doing, and make all the, like, quite substantial changes that game needs made to it. So I've not finished going back through it, but I'm pretty confident I can summarize the state of this patch. It removes the most egregious example of transphobia if we're talking about single sentences of dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
The sentence where York actively, as a gotcha, like, dead names the trans character. that sentence no longer exists. It's been very awkwardly cut out in that there's like 15 seconds of York just staring and not saying anything, and then there's a hard cut, and then it's the next line. Like, they've very hastily chopped that line of dialogue out so it no longer occurs. But that creates a whole new issue of its own, because in the scenes that follow, Lena, this trans woman, mentions her own dev name several times, and in the original version of the game, that very much felt like it was in direct response to, like, okay, if you're going to throw my dead name around, fine, let's address that. It felt in response to being aggressively dead named.
Yeah.
Whereas now, without, like, they've cut that one line of York's dialogue out and changed nothing else, which means that now it just seems like Lena is bringing up her dead name completely unprompted routinely.
Sure.
And that doesn't feel like a thing that a trans woman who has just finished talking about how relentlessly, harassed and discriminated against she was, would do. Like, I know for myself, I don't remember the last time I told someone my dead name because it's no one's fucking business, and I definitely wouldn't tell it, to a stranger who just rocked into town and was, investigating me for murder. Probably wouldn't come up.
No, not really.
Yeah. Also, they've not in any way changed the line where York is just like, hey, they never tried to burn you at the stake or murder you, so, like, your transphobia you experienced really wasn't that bad. Like, completely downplays it because it wasn't she didn't undergo a literal murder attempt, so what are you complaining about?
Some people have it worse than you. What have you got to complain about?
Yeah. If you've not been literally murdered, then nothing that's ever happened to you is a hate crime.
Absolutely. As I understand it, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Sarcasm.
Yeah. So, beyond that, there's a lot of other characters still dead naming Lena. You can write a lot of those off as that character is, transphobic. The main thing I was interested in is York and the other investigator, Aaliyah, in the 2019 section. So I was like, are they going to change all of the dead naming and misgendering that happens when referencing the past? Like, I'm talking about Lena, but before transition, so I'm going to dead name and misgender. And the simple answer is no. They've not changed any of that. Right at the start of Chapter 3, there is an example of Aaliyah just starting the sentence by mentioning Lena by name, and then ending the sentence by referring to her as someone's brother. Like, in the same sentence, I'm like, okay, you've really not made any effort at all. The Murder Investigation Board still discusses, like, hey, that's so-and-so's brother or so-and-so's son. Who was that? And making you put Lena and brother or son next to each other. York has still put up on the Murder Investigation Board eldest son leading to Lena. Like, so many very basic things that, like, here's the thing. As I've said before, there's a lot of shit in this game that you cannot fundamentally change and fix, but at the very least I would have expected, hey, change the dead naming and misgendering. Where it appears in text, change it. And they have not done that basicness. Also, still, cis man still playing the trans woman, and,
They did a bad job. But
yeah.
You know what? The trolls are going to be like, he changed it for you, what more do you want?
And I mean, also, I kind of want to note that in his announcement of this patch, first of all, he very proudly says that he has fixed the problem, and he seems to imply that there are no other patches to the trans content planned. Like, this is the one. He fixed it.
That's it. All done. I have fixed transphobia.
Yeah, there's going to be many, many, many upcoming patches to the frame rate, but this is the one patch for the trans stuff. He also, goes on this side rant about, I only changed the things that I wanted to change, and I did not change anything else. I only changed the things that I was happy to change.
Is that to silence the people who'll be like, you were forced to change it by
I don't know.
Trans cabal?
I can't tell if that's to stop the people saying I changed this because I was forced, or if that is, well, I was told to change other things, but I didn't want to. Because, like, there is definitely a reading on that could be, look, consultants told me to change things, but I only changed what I wanted to change.
Yeah, I guess you could read it that way.
Yeah, I've seen both readings made today, and I think both are equally plausible. But yeah, I'm gonna continue plodding through it. I want to see what they've done with that notorious line of dialogue toward the end where it's like, she, wait, no, he... Like, where they stop to correct themselves mid-sentence into misgendering. I want to see if they've done anything about that. But yeah, any hope that I had of like, oh, well, it's okay, he is fixing it, that's something. My hope in that regard has kind of gone down the toilet. What about you? You played anything else this week?
Nope, that's it.
I started playing Ghost of Tsushima, which is the fancy samurai game on the PS4. Didn't get to play as much of it as I would have liked, because I was going to try and play some of it today before Quips.
And then
but then Deadly Premonition required my attention. It's a very pretty samurai game where you hit stuff with a sword. So far, my only real takeaway is it's very pretty. And they have a mode that is labelled as Kurosawa mode after the samurai film director. What it really is black and white mode, but we contacted the Kurosawa estate and we were allowed to put his name on it, and that makes us sound more important,
Does
right?
that mean apart from you there are only 6 other samurai?
I probably have more informed thoughts on this game next week, as the same with Ooblets. Both of them I wanted to check out properly today, but that was not on the cards.
No.
Well,
too much going on, not enough time.
Next week I'll talk about Ghost of Tsushima, probably.
Hopefully we can stop talking about Deadly Premonition.
That's the hope. One can hope.
One can hope.
I think that's everything we've played this week, then.
Well then.
Time for this.
You, interested in a bit of knowledge, aren't you?
Well, I did enjoy learning a little bit of something, but
I saw you'd enjoyed just a little course there on a bit of art.
Well, yeah, I was only really planning on the one course. I just wanted to learn a little bit of art stuff.
Yeah, I noticed you learning about line work and stuff. Did you consider, some colour theory?
Well, I have been wondering about that, but I really can't afford to right now.
Got a course on colour theory, got a sale on.
Oh, how much was it and how much is it now?
This course, usually 126 quid.
Yeah.
This week only, $12.99.
You say this week only. Are you sure it won't be on sale again in 3 weeks?
Not for this price. Maybe 13 quid. But right now, 12 quid.
Oh, I really shouldn't.
No, okay. I don't want to push it too hard on you, but how about this about form and structure? Or maybe an anatomy course? Got a nice anatomy course for you.
You got so many things I want to learn.
Yeah, how about turning your hobby of artwork into, how to complete a Caltech sketchbook?
Oh.
Yeah, imagine it. You could get on one of those Cartoon Networks or something.
Oh, no.
Oh, this is a little bit of knowledge.
Oh, fine, I'll take one.
Oh, yeah.
I'll stop after that, I swear.
Yeah, you will. Of course you will. Good girl.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our brand new quarantine game show. It's Do I Need Trousers? Welcome to our first contestant. Introduce yourselves. Who have we got here today?
Hello, my name's Brian.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, you know the premise of the game. You've gotten very used to not getting dressed during lockdown, you've been at home for a while. Yes. Clothes are optional at this point.
Absolutely.
Now, let's put that to the test.
Alright.
So, we're going to give you a variety of situations that you might come across in your day-to-day life right now, and all you have to do is answer, do you need to wear trousers?
Do I?
I don't know, we're going to find out.
Oh?
Okay, first of all, you've got a Zoom meeting with everyone from the office.
No, I probably don't need trousers for that.
You are going to be on webcam.
Well, I'll just make sure I'm wearing a shirt and tie.
The answer is... ding, ding, ding! You are correct, as long as you shoot yourself from the waist up, and don't forget that you're not wearing trousers and try and make yourself a cup of tea. You're set. Next up, we've got doing the washing up kind of near your window.
I mean, probably not. I mean, people shouldn't be looking in my house anyway.
Ding, ding, ding! Correct again! If people see you without your trousers on, that's not your fault.
No, they shouldn't be looking in my house.
Exactly.
It's my house.
It is indeed your house. Next up, we've got nipping outside for like 2 seconds to grab a parcel on the front step.
I mean, it's like 2 seconds. It doesn't matter, right? You know, do a quick peek out through the little spy hole. You know, make sure there's no one around, and just quickly nip out to the step.
Ding, ding, ding! And correct again, you are on a roll. Right, we have one final question for you.
I'm feeling ready.
Oh. Do you need to wear trousers when playing this game show?
No.
I mean,
as long as I don't step out from behind the podium.
Ding, ding, ding! Once again, we have a winner. Now, I will ask you to stay behind your podium and we will bring the prizes to you.
Someone give me a sirong. So, what have you put in your eyes?
Well, we've continued to watch Star Trek.
We have. It's got way better in the second season, huh?
Yeah.
Much more even.
Generally so. Much more consistent.
Yes.
You know, there's still a couple of episodes I look at and go, that's a bit awkward. Yes, the ship of people who convinced, Geordie to come and repair their ship the other night was another of those, like, this has aged poorly. But, like, generally it's stepped up a notch nicely.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it feels more consistent. We're doing less origin story stuff for people.
Yeah.
We're getting some returning characters.
Yes. Well, I think since last week we watched the end of season 1, beginning of season 2, the Q Borg episode.
I think that was like middle of season 2.
Okay, well, either way, we've definitely seen that since last week. That's a new one we can talk about.
It was brilliant, because you were sitting there going, bashed out into the far side of the galaxy, eh? Can't be long until we meet the Borg now, hon. How long is it until we meet the Borg? And I'm just sitting there like...
Yeah,
any time now, I imagine.
I was sat there like, this has serious the Borg are about to show up energy. I could feel the Borg approaching.
Yes. Up.
Yeah. So yeah, it was an episode where Q showed up and basically was like, hey, you're not fucking ready for the Borg.
We're ready for the Borg.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw you over to one Borg ship.
We're not ready for the Borg.
Just say that I'm right and I'll take you back.
Fine.
Okay.
Also, Guinan and John and Q. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's some history there.
Indeed. Also, Guinan as a character, Whoopi Goldberg is fantastic. Wonderful in that role. Great.
She does very well in that role.
Yeah. I very much enjoyed... What was the other one I enjoyed the other day? Yes, the court case over Data and his ability to say, no, I don't want to be disassembled and made into a bunch of clones of myself, maybe if it goes well. I would like the right to stay on this ship and to refuse this operation.
Yep. And initially they were like, fuck you, no, your property.
Yeah. Having to watch Riker argue against Data's humanity was quite a thing.
Yeah.
It was a very interestingly put together episode.
It really was. I mean, it says a lot about sort of the nature of what makes a person.
Yeah. Every Star Trek season, though, watching DS9 and Voyager and TNG, every one of them has had, does that count as a person? That is a routine thing that this era of Star Treks do.
When you're encountering a species unlike anything you've encountered before, whether they be tiny pinpoints of light in a mine or some kind of weird space rock thing.
Well, I mean, it feels very odd that they have such a narrow definition of what constitutes life.
It's all carbon-based, isn't it?
But like, we had this, and then we had there's the Doctor in Voyager, and I'm sure DS9 had a "Do You Deserve Rights as Well" analog. I can't remember now, but I feel like they've solved it at this point. Can you have a rational conversation with it, and can it be creative and have a personality and life of its own? It lives.
It lives.
What about you? What you been watching?
You would be surprised to hear that I'm still knuckles deep in learning about music production.
Yeah, lots and lots of music production.
Lot of stuff about music production. I've listened to lots of in the mix stuff, which is mostly FL Studio tutorials on YouTube, like how to do this little thing, how to do that little thing, mostly with stock plugin stuff, which is always nice.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I spent enough on the fucking product as it is. I went the extra mile to get these extra bits as well. And I'm still feeling like, there's some stuff I need to get on top of this. So yeah, I've done a lot of that. I did some seamless tutorials today, because I've been trying to learn sound design more. I've got a lot of theory stuff down, and I would like to spend less time going through synths going, I don't know what half of these twiddly knobs do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been having lots of twiddly knob tutorials.
Yeah, lots of learning how to twiddly knob.
How to twiddly knob, why twiddly knob?
Oh, why you twiddly knob?
Depends on the twiddly knob.
The more that we say twiddly knob, the more it sounds like twiddle your knob in my head, and that's very funny to me.
Oh, I keep thinking of the tweenies. Was it tween? No, the hoobs.
Yes.
We're off to see the twiddly knobs.
No.
Twiddly knobs.
No.
Twist them.
No.
Twiddle the knobs. Pull some levers.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think one of my favourite things I picked up today was reverse engineer a synth.
Ooh.
So find a synth you like the sound of.
Yeah.
Take a photograph of it and then reset to defaults and just go listen to every single bit of it as you twist all the knobs into the position in your reference picture, and you will start to understand why that thing is how it is and what that does.
Okay.
What was that? That's quite interesting.
That sounds it.
Have you watched anything else?
We watched through all of the Trans Pride Brighton live stream at the weekend. This year, Trans Pride was a online streamed only event, and there's lots of music and lots of poetry and lots of fascinating things, and we had a nice drink and watched some trans people expressing themselves.
We did traditionally what we do at Trans Pride. We drank some cider in a warm room.
Yeah.
Well, usually it's a warm park.
There was sunshine visible out the window.
Exactly.
And we had a couple of ciders, and we're like, oh heck, that's some trans people making some art over there.
Yeah, there was a very cute blue-haired cutie on there about fourth on.
It's me.
Oh, yeah.
I was very happy with how that went over. It seems to have gone over well.
Well, it was nice to hear some positive stories.
Yeah, it was. I think I did okay with my 7 minutes and 11 seconds. I know, I ran 11 seconds over.
11 seconds over.
How dare I?
Goodness.
What about you? You watched anything else?
I did another Udemy course.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did all 3 parts of the drum programming masterclass.
Ooh.
I learned how to program drums. Because I don't really know much about drum patterns. I know how to beatbox them.
Yeah.
But I sometimes struggle going, which is that supposed to be a snare or a kick? That
sound I'm making, what drum makes that sound?
Which one is that? Is that a hat? And is that 2 different hats? Or is it the same hat with different velocities on it?
Ah, yes.
Because velocity is very important.
It very much is.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's another one of my Jason Allen courses on Udemy. It was really good. I look forward to putting it more into practice. Although I have recently found out that one of my drum packs on FL Studio just has like a bunch of pre-designed things for various musical genres.
Ah.
So you can put whatever drums in you like, and it will go, okay, I'm supposed to make these sounds in this order, but you have picked what sounds I make. Cool.
Nice.
So I can make drum and bass with chiptune drums now.
Oh, heck.
Yeah.
The only other thing I've watched this week is I watched the Nintendo Direct Mini that happened. It's very small. It was like 8 minutes long. Cadence of Hyrule is getting some DLC. There's character DLC. There's music DLC. I mean, I like the music in that game. The main thing that was interesting is there's a story DLC coming where you play as Skull Kid and there's an entirely new map. And I'm like,
heck.
Yeah, I'll probably play that.
I heard they're also doing a physical release with Cadence and Crypt of the Necrodancer and the expansion pack.
I hadn't heard Crypt of the Necrodancer was in there, but I know that that Cadence and all the DLC are both on the physical one. Yeah, that I will probably play that DLC. There's some WWE chibi game that I do not care at all about. And then at the end they were like, time for our last announcement, and Atlas came on the screen. Everyone's like, is it time for Shin Megami Tensei 5? The thing that they've been promising for years? It's a remake of 3. Actually, their last thing was 2 things. Here's a trailer for 5, the thing that everyone was excited about. Shin Megami Tensei is, Persona?
Yes.
Persona is a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei.
Right.
It is Persona's, older brother that never got out of its emo phase.
Right.
It's the slightly angsty, obsessed with being a little bit dark and edgy version of Persona. But it's still basically teens using summonable demons to fight other demons while fighting, traveling to another world and also living their own lives. It's basically, it's less colourful Persona.
Also, isn't Persona fairly like that on its own? Fairly edgy on its own?
I mean, it's kind of edgy, but it at least, tries to put, we're gonna sit and study for our school exams and be nice friends and have some coffee in the coffee shop. Whereas Shin Megami Tensei is just everything is terrible and the world is ending and everything's going to hell and it's so terrible, I have to fight demons. It's considerably more existential in tone.
Okay.
And a lot less visually colourful. But that's coming at some point next year, and I will probably play it because RPG on Switch. You watched anything else this week?
No, I'm pretty sure that's it. I'll watch more interesting things soon, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Well
right
then.
Study.
Well then. Time for this.
Hello, got a new sponsor?
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, do you like things?
Some things?
Would you like those things to be flatter?
I mean, it depends what the things are.
Do you know, paper, plastic things, sheet metal?
I mean, I don't frequently need them to be thinner.
No?
No.
No? This week's sponsor is Industrial Pneumatic Presses.
Oh. For, companies that need to industrial press a lot of stuff.
Yeah, sheet metal shaping, or that person on YouTube that, just squishes things.
I mean, I've never shown an interest in owning a business that industrially presses things.
No, I'm gonna be honest, I think this might be my fault.
Yeah? What did you do?
I turned off all the targeted ad settings because I was like, I don't want to share all my information with these randos.
Oh, and now
I'm getting, the dregs of AdSense.
Okay, well, if any of our listeners happen to be people who own factories that could do with an industrial press...
I mean, that's why I mentioned it, because I was like, we don't know everybody. They might need stuff pressed.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine, if you've got creases in clothing, this will get the fuck out of them.
I mean, I struggle to imagine how a crease could remain at that point.
Right. So that is industrialpresses.lol.net.gov.un, and you can get free shipping on any industrial pneumatic press over 60 grand.
What a deal!
What is the saving there? Industrialpresses.lol.net.gov.un. The code is QMPS127.
27.
People will need that, I guess.
The thing. Might need it.
Enter the code. I mean, it'd be no good if I told them about the sponsor and the thing and then didn't
not
give
the
them
code.
Right? That's the essential bit of this thing. Head on over there and enjoy flat things, I guess. Inside the boardroom of Electronic Active Softworks.
Hi. So, you know how the other week we released that game and some people were all upset about some of the content in it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine.
I know.
I, as a cis straight white dude, I thought that was fine.
I, as a cis straight white dude, thought it was alright as well, but...
I mean, and I am the authority on all things.
I know, we are both the authority on all things. That's why we are the executives here.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I don't see any minorities being the executives here.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone else being the executives here.
No, just us.
Yeah.
We're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where my dad put me and his dad before him.
And my dad before him and his dad before him.
Right.
Exactly. So, some people have complained that maybe some of the minority characters that we put in were a little bit offensive and not accurate to how those groups tend to be and harmfully perpetuating stereotypes.
Hey, it's representation that counts, right?
Exactly.
We put representation in our games.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if we represent them as being terrible, horrible, evil people.
Right.
We represented them.
Absolutely.
But, you know, what more do they want?
I mean, I have no idea, but I guess some people have been thinking about possible options.
Yeah.
Maybe fixing the thing? That sounds expensive.
I know, well that's the thing, is I've seen the list of the stuff they want changed, and it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be expensive. Like, I don't want to have to pay for another voice actor, I really don't want to have to pay for any work.
Have we considered a solemn JPEG?
Oh, we did the solemn JPEG, but they're expecting us to follow up on the solemn JPEG.
What?
I mean,
what do these people want?
Well, I got an idea. I think I know how we're going to work around this.
Sure.
What we're going to do is we're going to put out another solemn JPEG that says, we fixed it.
Right.
And we're not actually going to fix it. Because here's the thing. The people who are upset by this, they've already played through it and been like, I didn't like that, I don't want to play it.
Yeah, they won't be coming back.
Yeah, they're not going to replay it to see that we actually changed it, and the people,
and we've already got their money.
Exactly, and I'm sure that the people that were like, I'm not going to pick it up because it's offensive, will go, I'm still not going to pick it up because it was offensive at one point and I don't want to reward that.
But everybody else who just wants, to play the game and feel fine.
They aren't going to care that nothing's changed because they didn't notice anything in the first place.
You are a fucking genius.
I know.
So, what has slithered into your ear meats?
It's been another week of working, and as such, I've not listened to much new. Because of that Nintendo Direct Mini, I have been listening on loop to the Cadence of Hyrule soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of nice guitar, like electric guitar-led remixes of classic Zelda music. A lot of that has been filling up my week. What about you? What have you been listening to?
I've listened to quite a lot of happy hardcore.
Yeah.
I think it was just the weather, and I fancied a bit of a change.
Yeah.
It was like, what have I got in the way of happy hardcore? Fantasy World, which is a real classic. Party Time, I think that's a Scott Brown track. You Are My Sunshine, the happy hardcore remix.
Oh.
99 Red Balloons, happy hardcore remix.
Oh.
Died in Your Arms Tonight. Hardcore Feelings, which has just the worst lyrics in the world.
Yeah.
It's helped me realise that a lot of old happy hardcore tracks, just like lots of sampling in the background. Like maybe you'll have like a keyboard somewhere in there that is your own melody. Most of the rest of the stuff will be some kind of sampled, and then you'll just get a random female vocalist to sing words that have almost no meaning.
Okay.
Or like songs to a classic pop song that they've just cranked up the speed on. So it's kind of chipmunky. It's lots of 16-bar loops. I'm just analysing music at this point, I'll be honest. What about you?
I tried listening to the Adventure Zone Graduation again.
Ooh.
I keep trying, thinking maybe this will be the time that I'll click with it. I want to enjoy it.
Same.
I like the ideas of the characters and the setting.
Mm-hmm.
I realised after not too long that this was definitely the wrong week for me to try it again, because the opening episodes of Graduation have so many characters introduced and so many settings and so many things and so much to keep track of that you really need to be focusing like 110% on it. And this was not the week for me to do that.
No.
I tried and just couldn't quite keep up with it.
I'm really bad at picking up on who's large groups of people's names anyway, IRL. So generally my attitude with video games when they're introducing tons of people to me are, eventually I'll probably hear back, and it works well with podcasts too. Eventually that person will turn back up again, and I either will or will not know who they are, and I'll have to hope that I get it from context.
Yeah.
Which isn't great if they need a twist or something, but...
Yeah, I found that Graduation, I kind of find the same way as there were many problems I had with Game of Thrones, but it was an issue I had with Game of Thrones when I was trying to watch that at one point, which is I constantly felt like I needed a wiki open to read up on who a character was. Like, every time a name was mentioned, I was like, okay, let me fucking pull their page up. Who's that again?
Oh, I gave up on all of that. Mind you, I didn't watch it all the way through to the end, but it was always a case of eventually someone will be mentioned enough times I'll realise which one they're talking about.
Yeah.
I think I know which one Tyrion is.
He's the small one.
He drinks and he knows things.
Yes, he drinks and he knows things. Yes.
And Daenerys is the one with the dragons.
Yes.
And
Joffrey is the arsehole teenager.
The edgy teenager.
Yes.
Yeah. See, all of these things eventually sort of stuck with me.
Yeah.
Eventually, I didn't really feel any great need to remember them in the first few episodes.
Yeah.
It's the way TV works. Eventually somebody will be like, you there, your name. Cool. No one knows who that person is.
Yeah. So I'm sure at some point I will listen to Graduation. I'll get over that initial hump and I will know who everyone is and I will enjoy it. I keep coming back to it because I enjoyed Balance and Amnesty both so much that I really want to get into this, and it just isn't happening yet. But I'll report back next time I try it, and we'll see.
I think it helped with Balance that I came in so close to the end that by the time I'd watched all the way through, I had time to listen all the way through again.
Yeah.
To understand all the things that I'd missed the first time.
Yeah, this is kind of the thing here. I think what I'll probably do with Graduation is wait until it is like a good percentage of the way towards its end before I try and just binge it over a weekend or something.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I'm going to have to do. With Amnesty, a lot of the time I didn't know what was going on week to week, so I just kept giving up, leaving it like a couple of months and listening to all the episodes in one go.
Maybe at some point we'll have a weekend where we listen, and at any point where one of us doesn't know what's going on or who's who, we can ask the other one, and hopefully between us we'll remember enough of who's who.
Maybe.
We can maybe make it work.
Maybe. Because as I remember, wherever I got up to, which I think was like maybe episode 6 or 7, some sort of intrigue had just happened.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm curious to know what this is about.
Maybe at some point we'll give it a go together.
Maybe. When they're closer to the end.
Yeah. What about you? What have you been listening to? Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it.
Well then.
Time for this.
What for this?
Meow 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 meow.
What's wrong, kitty cat?
No fussins.
I mean, I'm in the middle of working right now. I have to finish typing this report up.
Oh, but fussins.
I
have head booped you now.
I see you head booping me. I see you head booping my hands that I'm using to type. Oh, you're trying to...
Yeah, if I just nuzzled a hand. It's okay, I'll write words too now. If I got right in your lap now. And just push keyboard out of way now.
Look, I will give you a scratch in a minute, but I just have to finish this email off. You are stepping all over the keyboard. I'm going to pick you up and put you over here for just a second. Are you protesting? Are you on strike here? I mean, what are your demands?
Pets, and fussing, and a dreamy.
Can I offer you pets and fussings and one dreamy in 5 minutes? Okay, 2 dreamies.
2 dreamies.
And some fussing and some pet. 1 minute, 90 seconds.
30 seconds. Dreamies. Fussing at least 3 hours, or until I get bored of you fussing.
I mean, I can offer you like 20 minutes on break.
How about if I just start twiddling your thigh? It's been 30 seconds, time for fussing.
I mean, if you climb up on my shoulders and go like a scarf, fine. Klaus.
Now there are claws in your titties.
Okay, hi. Hey, kitty. gosh. Time for another shift in the hospital, is it?
I'm so glad you're here. It's been quite a night.
Right, what patients we got tonight? It seems chaotic in here already.
Yeah, bed 2 has one of those, you know, where the arm just flails randomly? Seems to be clipping against something, don't know what.
Yeah, there's nothing visible to see it clipping against,
yeah,
but it's
still
just
clipping. Flailing like something out of Silent Hill or Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah, okay, I know.
Pretty
I know
horrifying. And really keep your face back, because that can really give you a slap if you're not careful.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman in bed 5. He's got extensive bruising across 125% of his body. Don't ask about the extra 25%.
Intern? What? No, I don't want to know.
Yeah, apparently his car hit a small pebble and was catapulted about 300 feet in the air.
Not another of those.
Yeah,
They happen every fucking week at this point.
It's the 4th time this week.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Bed 7. We got a person who's just chugging.
Oh.
Yeah, they're just moving like 1 frame a second because apparently their save file's too large.
Oh no.
We have got a save filectomy organised.
Did they do that thing where they left the doors open and didn't close the doors behind them, and now their save file has to say every door, like every individual door that's open?
Yeah, all of the states for that. Then you've also got the fact that they've just been leaving auto save on. So the save has just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and now they're just chugging.
Oh no.
Okay, next up, we've got woman in bed 10. She just periodically falls out of the sky. She'll be in bed 1 minute and then she'll just drop from the ceiling.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's a new one. That's a new one.
Yeah, yeah, and on a similar vein, I think there might be something going around. In the bed right up the end there, we've got this person. They're just floating 15 feet in the air, but kind of reacting like they're standing on the ground.
Yeah, I can see their walk. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the floor
definitely doing all the movement for walking above where the floor is, but just
15 feet up.
Just up.
Oh, never a quiet night in Bethesda Hospital.
Questions, Sam. It's time for questions.
What's the questions?
Drop. Hi, Drop.
Hi.
We'd like to know, what's your favourite book of all time?
Ooh, favourite book. It would probably be one of the series of Unfortunate Events books. I still enjoy, remember them very fondly. The one that jumps to mind is the Ersatz Elevator.
Mm.
I can't tell you why. I just very much... I remember that one very fondly. What about you?
Mine is a book called Dark Toys and Consumer Goods by Lawrence Stagg. It's a searing book about capitalism. It's a bunch of loosely connected horror stories about rampant capitalism. So the first story is set in a multi-story car park around a shopping mall, where this mum and her 2 kids, they've just moved into the area because a husband got a transfer at work, which means they can live in a much nicer area. There's a whole shopping mall and everything, but they haven't got any food in or anything really in the house, and the movers aren't coming until like a couple of days. So she's like, I'll take the kids to the mall, I'll grab some food, we'll head home, have dinner, and then rest because it's been a long day. And they get there, and the car park is full of just dusty cars, like crammed full of dusty cars. And they drive up and up and up, and as they get further and further up, they find the cars are less dusty. So they park up when they finally find a space in the area of less dusty cars, and they go into the shopping mall, and it appears to go infinitely up forever. And it's full of like horrifying announcements like, hey, if you haven't got any money, we've got a whole range of credit you can get on the 10th floor. Or the 100th floor it might be. Just head on up and we'll give you a range of credit. Cool. We're having a sale over here at Antrobus Electronics, and there's people literally like Black Fridaying over there. Gotta have the thing, like shopping trolleys full of things. And there's all this sort of weird light music, and basically she starts having a panic attack because it's all too much. So she tries to go up to the top floor to see if she can find out, like, what's going on, and from the top you can see the ceiling of the thing, but it appears to go infinitely down forever.
This sounds great, but very intense.
It's very intense. So they go back to where they came in, get back in the car, and start driving around the car park. It's like, well, the car park's only like 100 stories, that's fine. And they get to 100, and it's all been a bit much, and without even noticing they're back on floor 1. And the mall radio is playing on the car stereo. It's the only channel they can get, and it's really soothing. And if they get tired of driving around in circles, they can just go in the shopping mall. After all, it's always open. Like, you later on find out the whole reason for that is that when you move to a new area, you have to do community service at one of the malls as a consumer.
Oh.
Like, this book is horrifying.
Yeah, we picked very different books.
I got a copy of it when I was about 13, and I was like, this is brilliant.
You've told me about it before, and my thought remains, that sounds amazing. It sounds like a lot, and I don't know if I'm in the mood for it.
Real.
Yep.
Yeah, it's wonderfully horrifying young adult fiction.
Yeah.
Where somebody turns into a credit card.
Oh no!
Jürgen Van McFurder asks, how much of your skits are planned/scripted, and how much of it is impromptu? It depends on the skit.
On the day, we usually come up with the bullet point, 3 each of like, here's our 3 things, and usually, I would say probably 2/3, maybe 3/4 of our skits are, here is the general overview premise in a couple of sentences, and we wing it from there.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like this week, I know there's one where I've bullet pointed out, like, there's going to be like 4 sections of a thing, and I've bullet pointed out what those are going to be, but we never
we tend not. I script some of them, like the Nakey Blakey Cakey Bakey.
Yeah, ones where like wordplay is important,
yes.
Or like typically ones that are like monologue-y, like one person doing a let me read my script thing.
It tends to be sort of how we think of them at the time.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like this would be fun if we, because very often things like Electronic Actor Softworks are, here's the bullshit thing that happened in the industry this week.
Yes.
Let's pretend to be the evil bastards that do that.
Yeah. I think most things we can just go, here is the general premise, but sometimes in the planning it's like, I know there are specific beats I want to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking back at last week's. Last week's was one of the more scripted.
Yeah.
Bethesda Hospital is one I came up with in bed.
Oh, yes.
I was like, oh, yeah, just horrifying things that happen in Bethesda games.
Yeah. And again,
they were real.
Yeah, you sort of bullet pointed what the things were going to be.
Yeah, the Mind Your Business game show, like, I outlined the concept of that.
Yeah.
But, like, all the words in it were... And sort of basically what the punchline was going to be.
Yeah, so you put the punchline in there so I knew what I had to work towards.
Yeah. The sponsors tend to be like, what is something we've seen advertised? Or how will we fuck this up? Social Justice Warriors isn't really a skit.
Yeah, Social Justice Warriors is usually, here is the thing that happened in the world, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
It's usually not scripted particularly.
You pretty much wrote out the love letter from last week.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure how to end it.
You didn't have a good ending, but I dramatically read it in a doorway.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I wrote it, like, pretty much the full script for it and was like, I have this much. I feel like there's something here. How do we do this? And then you sort of improv the voice and the ending.
Oh, my darling.
Yes. But that was one that was largely scripted.
Yeah, so it very much depends on the week.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just 6 skits bulleted out as 2 lines each.
Yeah.
You get a gist, and sometimes you'll sit there going, what is this joke?
Yeah, sometimes I don't know what the joke is when we start the skit.
Like, to use a classic example, I think from, like, episode 4 or 5, Glorious Meat Broom. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And I'm just sitting there going, Glorious Meat Broom! Buy the Glorious Meat Broom! And you were like, and why do I want to do this? How else will you win the sweepstake?
Yeah, that's the thing. Occasionally, you'll put, like, not the punchline, but you'll put, like, a phrase and you'll just leave me dangling to work out where we're going. Like, sometimes I will be as lost during the skit as the listener. That is very much your style more than mine.
It's because I get to pun you real hard.
Oh no, it's great. I don't disagree, it's great.
Set for pun. Next question. The question that is next. Samuel West asks, what is your favourite flavour of cream cheese?
None. I'm not a fan of cream cheese.
Or cheese full stop, really.
Yeah, any variety.
Or
of
cream.
Cream or cheese. I'm not a dairy person. I'm not an imitation dairy person.
No.
Ice cream is the
person.
Made
of meat.
Oh, well, I suppose. Ice cream is the one dairy or dairy substitute thing I enjoy. Otherwise, no thanks.
No, thank you. I mean, garlic and herb is a classic. I love garlic chili. Garlic herb and chili. Smoked cream cheese is also good. I just love cheese.
You love cheese?
I love cheese. I am, in fact, an imitation cheese person. I bounce and everything. A name I've never heard before. Becky Tutil?
Oh, hi, Becky.
Hi, Becky, I love you.
I love you.
Asks, why isn't Sleepy Bitch Juice a mainstream product? Energy drinks are, and that's basically wakey bitch juice.
I mean,
in America they have melanin. Hi everyone, Jane from the future here. I'm doing the edit. I've just noticed we said melanin, and we meant melatonin. Apologies. Melatonin, the sleepy bitch juice you can buy. Ooh.
Yeah. You can get melanin drinks in America. Like, I remember the last time I took a flight from LA to London. I bought like 2 little 5-hour energy size things of melanin drink in the airport. Drank both of them just before takeoff. Fell asleep during takeoff and woke up as we were landing. It was great.
Sleepy Bitch Juice, now available in America.
So yeah, in America you can get Sleepy Bitch Juice.
Although I hear that you could, it's not something you can do reliably a lot.
Oh no, you shouldn't do, have it all the time. But if you're in a situation of, I desperately need to tell my body, hey, here's some sleepy the chemicals that tell you it's time for bed, please go the fuck to bed. It will give you a restful night's sleep here and there. That's the thing, is it doesn't feel like, it's not like it's knocked you out, it just told your brain, hey, you're tired. Which is good.
It is, yeah. Tricky asks, our storytelling abilities have been the key to our evolution as a species, as well as the rise and fall of civilizations. What's the most philosophical thought you've had on video games?
That
Ubisoft should stop covering up rape cases and sexual predators.
Oh, indeed, yeah. Yeah, that's a very good philosophical thought right there.
Honestly, I can't think of one, but that's a very important message.
I mean, now that you've said that, that's all I can think of. Ubisoft should really stop.
Yeah,
trying to cover up all of the allegations of rape and sexual assault within their company.
Brushing it under the carpet.
Yeah.
Or thinking that they can ignore it by just sacking a few people.
Well, not even sacking a few people, letting people resign of their own accord, coincidentally at the same time they're being accused of things.
Fancy Wookie asks, best horrendous 70s style party dish?
Oh.
Cheese and pineapple hedgehog?
I don't know that I've ever experienced that being a thing.
So you take half a pineapple.
Yeah, I can tell what you probably do. I can guess. I didn't know that was a thing people did.
Oh, it was very popular. It was the height of sophistication. You go to a party, it's like, what's that? Oh, it's half a pineapple with a bunch of cubes of cheese and pineapple stuck on cocktail sticks.
I don't know what my answer was going to be to that, but it's been knocked out of me by the knowledge of the cheese and pineapple hedgehog.
Also, casseroles were a real big thing in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, anything that was layered was a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, layered desserts. Like, you'd have the dessert that had the ladyfingers at the bottom, and then you'd have, custard, you'd have jelly.
Basically a trifle.
Yeah, you're sort of trifle-esque.
The homemade tiramisu, that, as somebody who has eaten modern tiramisu versus 70s Britain tiramisu... Oh, sorry, 80s Britain tiramisu, no. It's not whatever the fuck that was. It's like half a cup of weak coffee poured over some of those things you sometimes get in a trifle.
Yeah.
And with a bit of squirty cream and some grated chocolate over the top. That's not a tiramisu.
The 80s had some weird foods.
Yeah, definitely casserole was a weird one.
Yeah.
So what's the thing you don't have to think about is probably going to be a bit dull and stodgy. Well, Britain's answer to that is a casserole.
Yeah.
We've all got the same fucking casserole dishes. Callum asks, "Hi Callum Turner, how are you doing?"
Hi.
In the spirit of Devolver Digital's My Uncle Who Works at Nintendo, are there any other playground rumours / children's lie characters that you would like to see show up in future events?
Side note, this isn't quite the question that was asked, but I do have a My Uncle Who Works at Nintendo story that I overheard on a train once, and
Wonderful.
I think it's the appropriate answer to this question.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on a train, and there is a group of children, couldn't be more than like 8 or 9 years old, clearly on a school trip or something. They're all in uniform, they had their teacher with them, and one of the kids, I just sat there for a good 20 minutes listening to this kid tell all his friends about how, I don't know if it's his uncle who worked at Nintendo or his dad who worked in it, his relative who worked at Nintendo, was talking about how, have you heard, Minecraft 2 is coming, and it's set in space, and you've got jetpacks, and you can,
space engineers.
and there's time, you can time travel, and like just coming up with this bullshit list of like features that Minecraft 2 was gonna have, and all of these kids were fucking enraptured, like, oh my god, I can't believe you know this. And I just sat there like, oh, this is great, kid.
You can weave quite the story.
Oh, I was sat there like, hey kid, if it turns out that your dad does actually work at Nintendo, I've passed up a real fucking scoop by not reporting on you.
I think for me it was always like, I'd always heard like, oh, my friend's brother.
Oh,
Yeah, my
okay.
friend's brother managed to like get Reptile as a playable character.
Oh,
My
yes.
friend's brother
Yes.
managed to get Ermac in the original Mortal Kombat.
The friend's brother always knew all the cheats and all
knows
the
all the
unlocks.
cheats, knows all the combos,
Yeah.
all the unlocks.
Yeah, exactly. All of the like, oh yeah, my friend's brother knows how to get to the light temple in Ocarina of Time. At the end, where you can
100%.
get the Triforce.
Been to the unicorn fountain.
Yeah,
or
the
whatever.
unicorn fountain. That's the one. Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah, it was someone's friend's brother.
See, here's the thing. The reason I always believed the my friend's brother stories is my actual brother managed to get me Pokemon that ran on a floppy disk in an emulator. So I was like, oh yeah, brothers can fucking do anything. They know how to video games.
They do know how to video games.
Yeah.
I think my first original copy of on a 5 1/4-inch disc of Lemmings was from a friend's brother.
Yeah,
Actually,
I mean, that Pokemon on a floppy disk wouldn't go past Viridian Forest, but like, still, my brother who knows about video games.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Blushington Snugglesworth Esquire.
Oh,
Look at his little glasses.
oh, that's adorable.
If I were to summon you as an attack in a JRPG, what would you look like, and what kind of damage would you do?
I would look very tired out. I'd be like, gotta get back to work, and I would very frantically attack the enemy like as quickly as possible. I'd sprint right through them because I had to get back to work.
I quite like the idea that you'd be like the characters from Typing of the Dead. You'd have like the big backpack on and like a sort of like waist-high mounted keyboard.
I'm just there,
And you'd just be like...
I'm writing a review of why they need to be defeated.
Yeah.
What about you?
I imagine, I mean, it's JRPG, so I can have really funky hair.
Yeah.
So, like, just my hair just on top, just exploded. Wearing, like, all of the colours.
Yeah.
Some really loose-fitting pants, and just, like, doing poi at them.
Yeah.
Just ultrasonic battering damage.
That's wonderful. I very much approve of this.
Mm-hmm. Maggie J. Evans asks, do you think Nintendo still stick to a 5-year console cycle and will release the Switch's successor in 2022?
The Switch is still selling incredibly well, and is running well enough to handle a lot of, like, current stuff still, for ports. I feel like Nintendo's the kind of company that isn't going to look at replacing the Switch until the Switch isn't doing well. Like, it's...
Yeah, I mean, given that, like, they've been saying that this is, like, the best console for them.
Yeah. I don't think they want to risk that by trying the next thing in case they get it wrong.
I think it very much depends how badly they fuck up their storefront in the next few years.
I don't even think that. Like, I think the biggest question is going to be how scalable are next-gen games. Because, like, I think Nintendo's got another... Microsoft have already said for at least the first couple of years of next-gen, all of their stuff's going to be available on Xbox One as well, which means that, like, I suspect the first 2 to 3 years of next-gen consoles are going to be built to be scalable so that they can run on older hardware, which means Switch ports aren't out of the question. Once we move past that, maybe Nintendo feels some pressure, but again, for now... The Switch is selling incredibly well and showing no signs of slowing, and everyone fucking loves it, so keep doing the Switch, I guess.
Maybe if they could fix the Joy-Con drift, that'd be great.
Switch 2, this time the Joy-Cons work.
I mean, that would be a fucking selling point for me.
Yeah. I think, like, timeline-wise, the more likely thing we'll see in the next 2 years is, like, the Switch Pro or the Switch, you know.
Yeah. Or the Switch XL.
Yeah, we'll see some... additional model of the Switch rather than seeing a complete replacement.
Oh, Switch XL.
Yeah.
Size of a tablet. real, like, proper adult hand-sized controls.
That'd be quite a thing.
Yeah.
Well,
probably weigh a decent amount, but...
Probably.
I would be very ready for that. It runs native 1080p out of docked mode.
Nice.
And that's all the questions.
Well then.
Time for this.
Do you
know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Social Justice Warriors.
Yeah.
Alright, Larry.
Alright, Barry. How you doing?
Not too bad. I've just checked. I think I've got enough drink to get through this skit.
Oh, that's always useful. I believe I also have enough drink to get through this skit, so I think we're going to be fine. Cheers.
Virtual cheers.
Virtual cheers. Yeah. Don't want to make any sound. That would suggest an in-person cheers.
Indeed, and we haven't been anywhere near each other in months. So,
Indeed.
Yes. You been up to much?
Oh, you know, just doom scrolling Twitter, you know how it is.
Yeah, you know, gotta get all the hate and suffering in through my eyeballs.
Yeah, I've been rather obsessively reading about all of the various things going on at that video game company that had a lot of executives accused of many, many crimes.
Yeah, that on top of the COVID, the government ineptitude, the NHS being sold off, and just the continuing protests in America that are getting less and less, footage of them shown,
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about that company with the execs getting accused of all the things, because it showed a good example of a thing that is a bigger problem, I think, which is executives that are accused of crimes never really having to face any actual consequences for that.
Yeah, I mean, I know that, it's not really up to the companies themselves to be arresting them.
No. But,
I'm sure the companies would love the right to be able to just randomly arrest people.
God, yeah, but here's the thing. All too often you see... people in those positions allowed to voluntarily step down from their positions rather than actually being fired. And I know that sounds like a very, splitting hairs difference to make, but it makes a big difference in a lot of regards, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think to a future employer it looks very different if you can always be able to say, well, I stepped away from the job, it wasn't for me. Apparently they weren't going to let me get away with sexual assault anymore.
Yeah, maybe you'll be different though. Yeah.
Right.
But that's it. It's you get to avoid headlines that say you were fired. You get to some degree avoid admitting wrongdoing. I wasn't fired. The company did not say I did anything wrong. I chose to leave. Well, on top of that, it often has a financial component as well, because if someone is fired, they're often not entitled to,
various severance benefits.
Yeah, severance benefits, things like that. But if someone steps down, if they leave the company voluntarily, there's usually money involved in leaving the company when you're an executive at that stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And while I do remember a time when it was very, if a politician got caught doing something wrong, the thing was that they resigned their position.
Yeah.
And that was considered the honourable thing to do, accepting you have done a wrong thing and, making amends. Yeah. But they haven't really accepted they've done anything wrong. They've just gone, I'm just gonna flip my collar up, pull my iconic hat down, and just try and get out of here before anyone knows.
And also, the big shift that seems to have happened is that where it used to be, I have done something wrong and I will resign, and that used to be an admittance. Now it's more, I'm just off now. I'm just off. Yeah, and often it is, because the whole point of the honourable resignation is, I'm not going to stick around to be forced out, I will leave.
And that usually comes with some sort of, press announcement of, I did a bad thing.
But if you look at a lot of these companies like that video game one at the moment, you saw how many people voluntarily resigned at the exact same time. That's not voluntary resignation, that's the company is firing you but has told you, okay, well, we're going to fire you all, but, say you're leaving so that we can pay you still.
We'll give you that last month's pay. We'll give you various packages. We'll let you, deal with your shares. You can deal with in your own time. Don't worry about that.
Exactly. And then on top of that, there's also part of it that rolls into. That particular company, that video game company at the moment, has started a big internal review to try and find, evidence of wrongdoing. And it's very
difficult.
Well, here's the thing. It's mighty convenient that if all the people who need investigating step down from the company, then suddenly, they're not an employee of the company, we don't need to investigate them. They step down.
Exactly. Well, if none of the people that did any wrong are here, then surely the company has done no wrong.
Exactly. No current employee of the company has been found guilty of any wrongdoing, because they all stepped down.
Everything is fine in
They all stepped down just before we did the investigation. And
we're sorry you felt that there was a problem.
And our investigation won't, turn over any legal evidence that would lead to them getting arrested, because we didn't investigate them, because they all left.
Exactly, and, had all of their files deleted.
Exactly, they had the ability to go through and do that rather than being kicked out.
Yeah, it certainly is a cycle, but it feels like every time it comes around, it is getting a lot more vocal now. I mean, maybe it's the circles I move in, but I feel like firstly the fact that these things go round in circles. We've heard accusations from various companies, and sometimes the same companies come up again. The same people come up again. And, it feels like every time there is a much bigger outcry from within the industry, even if the actual gamers TM are the worst fucking people for being just want to play games. Stop complaining about all the abuse.
Well, I hope you're right.
I hope
because things do need to improve.
Definitely, and I hope being louder really helps and gets some fucking justice for people, because there's not enough of that in the world right now.
Right.
Virtual hug. Good hug, mate, good hug.
Good hug.
Right, I think I'm going to pop the kettle on and have myself a nice cup of tea.
I think separately I will also go do that thing.
Nice.
Good evening. Nice.
Yeah, you too, mate. So long.
Yes.
Sleepy bun. Where can we find you on the...
I am a sleepy bun. You can find me at Laura K. Buzz in all the places. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, that's the one that pays the bills. LauraKBuzz.com. Every Friday I post an episode of Accessibility, which is a show on YouTube where I talk about the video game industry, accessibility, representation, all that sort of stuff. This week's episode, I think, is the one where I talk about Pokemon Go and all of the disability features they added when COVID started, and then, are going to roll back as soon as everyone's allowed back into the world, and they probably shouldn't do that, because disabled people have been asking for these features for fucking years. Other than that, I've got some books. There is Uncomfortable Labels. It's about being gay and trans and on the autism spectrum, and it is available now where books are sold, or as an audiobook on laurakbuzzstore.com. There is Things I Learned from Mario's Butt, which is coming out on February 4th, 2021, because this year delayed everything. And then, hopefully next summer, we've got Gender Euphoria coming out, which is an anthology of positive, good, nice stories from non-cisgender people.
I would love some Gender Euphoria.
Yeah, you in that book.
I'm in that book.
You've done some words for that book.
Yeah, I bought a copy, so I get my name in the book.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also your name will be in the book, but your name will also be at the back of the book.
Yeah.
It'll be in the book twice.
Double book.
Yeah. Yeah, other than that, I've got a podcast that's Pixel Squirt, where I talk about video game character pornography with Mari and Stacey from Geek Remix. There's Podquisition, where I talk about whether your favourite video games are great or perfect, and how Ubisoft keeps not acknowledging allegations of rape and sexual assault company-wide rampantly within their company. And there's Dice Funk, which is a Dungeons & Dragons real play podcast. I'm on seasons 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. They're all self-contained stories. We're currently doing a season that is post-apocalypse road trip, which has been quite interesting. I'm also on another podcast with you, Jane.
Yep.
One that isn't Gwoops.
No.
And it's one that we do together.
It is.
Do you want to tell people about that and the other things you do?
Well, as you know, Queer and Pleasant Strangers is kind of a thing that we do in the moment. And so if you like the humoury bits that we do, the skits, but you're like, oh, that game is so old now. I know their thoughts on that game. I just want to enjoy the humorous bits. We do Queer and Pleasant Skitisodes now.
Yeah.
It's basically going back from the beginning, from the very first episode, carefully plucking out all of the skits and putting them together as like a 15 to 20 minute... Boop. Just, here are the jokes. Do you want to hear the jokes from 2 years ago?
Here's us being silly a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So they're going out every Wednesday on my channel.
Yeah.
And on my Sounded Cloud. I have a Sounded Cloud.
Yeah.
Where you can also hear Polyamory, which is another thing you and I did together.
That's the thing I was alluding to before.
With that Becky Toohill and that Nick Flair. And we do, 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons real play podcast with questionable morals. I mean, isn't that how most D&D goes?
Yeah.
That is very specifically aimed that way.
We've recorded many episodes, which means that I can cryptically allude to things you won't know about for a very long time.
Indeed.
Such as a very snazzy hat.
A very snazzy hat that was supposed to be in the season 1, but we didn't quite make it there.
I think we recorded and then that might be the episode. Yeah, the lost episode. But there's a very snazzy hat.
A snazzy hat.
Like next year you'll get to hear about.
I also make t-shirts. They're available on my Redbubble. With examples like wealth inequality solutions. It's got a guillotine on it. What else have I got? I do streaming on twitch.tv/Janiac. I've got a Patreon. That's the one that pays my bills for as little as $1 a month. You can help me justify a 70-hour work week. Yeah. Yay. Maybe even help me change my work-life balance. That'd be lovely.
Wouldn't it just?
All of my stuff can basically be found at streamerlinks.com/Janiac. That's JANEIAC.
Yeah.
Oh, man, thank you very much for joining us. Laura?
Yeah?
Will you sing us out, darling?
Until next time, be a stranger.